Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are in a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett First Arcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team. Turner, Bonnet, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off, center stage, Bischoff. Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and The Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules, cat back. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom Zigg's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a tip. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Feeling old? How you doing, bud?
Well, not feeling old.
Because you're not, and I am.
I'm excited that you're here, though, because, let's get right into it. You know, I saw Dynamite this past week.
Mm-hmm.
I come away from that great presentation. And first of all, I guess I should say congratulations. I think y'all topped 1 million viewers for only the 4th time ever. So pretty big deal. First time in 2020. So
we're pretty excited about it.
Congrats all around. But now what everybody really wants to know, what the fuck were you wearing?
Oh, okay. So I get it. So we opened the show with me and MJF and Chris Jericho. Very good interview. Very well done. And the only takeaway we got from that is what I was wearing.
No. It was once you were in the ring, but you were in the ring and I saw you step through in gray shoes, blue pants, and a black jacket.
Yep.
Tony, you're making too much goddamn money to walk around here looking like you're a thrift store model.
Listen, first of all, you're colorblind, so fuck you.
And secondly, you've rubbed off on Jim Ross. Jim Ross ain't even wearing fucking suits to the desk anymore. He looks like he's ready to get in the kitchen with Guy Fieri. What are y'all doing?
All right. Let me tell you about the pants. I thought they were black pants.
Okay. You're forgiven. Listen, I'm colorblind too.
I did. I was in the hotel room and I said, yeah, these are black pants. And I got them. And then when I went outside to do the Jericho thing, I looked and I said, oh shit, they're navy blue. But those were the only pants I had at the time. Could have taken off the pants if you would have liked.
No.
Think you would.
No. Listen, you did the right call. And here's the thing, I'm sensitive to this because I'm colorblind. It's a disability. And I didn't realize.
Apparently you're not.
Well, I knew that those were not the same color because I could, see them touching each other.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about you letting Jim Ross wear Bruce Pritchard. Like, has he been digging through Bruce Pritchard's closet and finding all these wild and crazy shirts? It certainly looks like it.
He might be because, Bruce is a big time executive now and he probably shit canned all these ugly stuff. But here's the thing. The day after, my daughter Laurie got in touch with me and she said, Conrad's giving you shit for your blue pants and black coat. And I said, that motherfucker. I said, he's colorblind.
Yeah.
He is. I said, yes. So
wait, are you saying that Laurie's got a problem with my disability too?
No, no. I screamed that he was colorblind. She said he is. I said, yes.
And even I could tell. That's how bad it was. That's how egregious it was.
Okay. So, anyway, do you think it ruined the Miro thing? No, I don't think it did.
What did you think of the Miro thing?
I loved it. That was to me. Well, first of all, I always did like Rusev. Always did like the character. And I did not know that he was coming that day. We had our meeting on Tuesday and Tony said, we're going to bring out the best man for Kip. And I think everybody's going to like it. That's all he said. I didn't know it was going to be Rusev.
Right.
So I'm walking to the backstage area and he sticks his head out. He went, hey, I'm Miro. And I went almost like a fanboy, right? I went, oh, shit. Hey man, how you doing? And, I'd often heard he's a great guy and he lives up to the reputation. He and I spent, many, many minutes together talking about video games and talking about stories of wrestling and, he's powerful. Holy shit. So I liked it. I really did. It was a good surprise. Some people may say, well, it's not the best way to bring in Rusev or Miro. Maybe they should have done it a different way, but I think it's going to be good.
Well, I think it's going to be great. Today's episode is going to be great too, because we're doing hashtag Ask Tony Anything. So no watch along today, kids, but next week we'll be back with a very special show. I'm so excited for you to watch this one. It's One Night Only. You've had a few of those other ones though. One Night Only, 1997. It went down on September 20th in Birmingham, England. There's lots of cool stuff on the undercard, including Tiger Ali Singh against Leif Cassidy, Hunter Hearst Helmsley against Dude Love, The Patriot working with Flash Funk, Vader working with Owen Hart, Legion of Doom in there with the Godwins. But then the two sort of co-main events, Bret Hart and Undertaker for the world title, criminally underrated match. And then you want to talk about heat. My goodness, Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog for the European Championship. And it's across the pond. It's going to be fantastic. It's a near 3-hour runtime. It's coming your way next week here on What Happened When. I love 97 WWF. This is going to be a great show, Tony.
I'm looking forward to it. I've enjoyed every late 90s WWF show that we have done. I've enjoyed every one of them.
Well, I think you're going to enjoy today's show a little less than normal because you're on the hot seat today, Tony. So instead of us trying to, find stupid things to talk about and play, hey, do you like Kit Kats or Reese Cups? We've got to actually, that is what today's show is. It's pretty much that. Yeah. We pinned a tweet to, at WHW Monday that said, got a question for the man? Leave them here. Hashtag Ask Tony. And by the way, the picture of you in my pool wearing the Savage sunglasses has gone a little bit viral. Even some of your friends over in the inner circle are liking it on social. Were you surprised that picture caught as much fire as it did?
No, because of Jericho. Jericho's the one that sent me the picture. I hadn't seen it. Of course, I'm not.
Oh wait, you're talking about when you were photoshopped into the Mimosa Mayhem match.
Right.
I'm talking about the original one we took here at the house. Oh,
I'm not aware of that. As you know, I'm not. If something's going viral on social, I am not aware.
I sometimes wonder how big this show could be if you would actually be my partner and help me promote it and things like that.
Doesn't Jeff Jones help you promote it?
No.
What?
No.
Well, you know what the problem is then, don't you?
What? I have a partner who don't give a shit named Noah Anthony Schiavone.
Yeah, no. Get Dave Silva off his ass.
Whoa. Hang on now.
It's your social media.
I know. And somebody else runs it.
But that's not always been
And who runs your social media?
me.
Bullshit. Get Dave a hand in his cock to do something with Jeff Jones. Bullshit. You're a big star. Don't give me, I run my social media.
I'm a big star. Listen to you. I do mortgages.
Well, you're a big star in the mortgage industry.
All right. Fuck you. Let's get to the questions. Joseph wants to know if you have a magic stick.
A magic stick?
I guess he knows that you're into silly carnival like shit. You like Batman and you wear socks that have capes on them and that sort of nonsense. Do you also have like a little amateur magic kit that includes a magic stick, or maybe you got one in your britches now, or I don't know.
No, I don't have one, although I would like, and Joseph, is this from Joseph, right?
Yeah.
Joseph, you could send me if you want to at SD Media, our mailbox. You could send me if you would like a Harry Potter wand.
Well, don't you have a Harry Potter wand?
I do not have a Harry Potter wand. I've always wanted one.
I was told that you had one between your legs.
Well,
because I was told that using your Harry Potter magic wand, you made 5 kids appear and all your money disappear with one wand.
Well, you know what? Probably back in 1980, that magic wand was probably active. Right now it is
dormant.
Thank you for that word.
Hibernating.
Mm-hmm.
You ever feed it a peanut?
No, I'm not.
Talent wants to know, do you think Bret Hart retired as one of the greatest ever? Or does WCW run tarnish his legacy so much that he's not even added to the Mount Rushmore conversation? And I got to tell you, I think that's a fair question, Tony, because when we hear people talk about Mount Rushmore, Bret's name doesn't come up that often. And you got to wonder if he really retired. Let's pretend he retired at the end of 97. He never showed up in WCW. I think people might talk about him like he was Barry Sanders of wrestling.
I don't know if WCW tarnished the legacy. I'm not so sure. He became the world champion and he won it in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
He had, and of course now we think about what happened with him and Goldberg and all that stuff. But I think the reason that Bret Hart is not on the quote unquote Mount Rushmore of wrestlers is because there are 4 other guys ahead of him. It's a very crowded group. There's Shawn Michaels. There's, for better or for worse, Hulk Hogan.
Right.
There's Ric Flair. And then after that, I don't know. You could put Bret Hart on there. And you know, this quote unquote Mount Rushmore question is always one for debate, and it's always, you know, personal feelings and whatever. And there's Taz, right?
Oh, fuck off. Even Taz wouldn't put Taz on Taz's.
I know he'd be pissed off for me saying that. And that's why I just said it.
Ken Patera's Pat Raccoon Josh. By the way, Ken Patera's Pat Raccoon Josh. It's not even how you spell raccoon. Just so you know.
Yeah. Well, Ken Patera would have been pissed off too.
Probably still is. Does Tony believe?
Ken Patera is one of those guys that would stretch you and not even look, and you're gone.
I don't want to step on you again, so I thought I'd just lay out till you were done making noises.
Okay, so what the fuck does this pet raccoon want?
He wants you to be in a better mood. Should we let you rub one out and then me just call you right back?
Let me take a breath. Hey, pet raccoon of Ken Patera, what's your question?
Does Tony believe the reason the WWE doesn't mention WCW and its history hardly ever is because you guys beat their ass for 83 straight weeks and damn near put them out of business?
That's a good question. I think it may have part of it, but I just think that Vince always had such a hard on for WCW and Ted Turner. And because it was a company that gave him competition where no other company ever has, I think that's the main reason. So in the 83 weeks, yeah, but it's more than that. He always hated Southern wrestling. He did. He always hated Southern wrestling, to the point to where when I was working there, Bruce Pritchard, who was my boss, would always come to me and say, Ted just thinks your voice is too, Vince just thinks your voice is too Southern. So you need to work on that. And so he brought me in, and then all of a sudden he listened saying, man, that sounds like the old Southern wrestling that I don't want. And then he brought in JR, and I'm thinking, so where does this all come in, right? So I just think he had a hard on for old time Southern wrestling, combined with his disdain for Ted Turner, and combined with the fact that those 83 weeks certainly kicked his ass. That's part of it.
We got lots of questions about this, so we'll just get right to it. Talent wants to know, as a shoot, if Vince would have called you 1 year before Tony Khan, would you have gone to WWE?
Yes.
Wow. Look at you telling the truth. I didn't expect that. Thought you'd be a dirty fucking liar.
No, I would have gone. I think that there's been a certain number of incidents in my life that have completely turned my life around. And Lois and I were talking about this at dinner the other day. I talked about coincidences and things that had happened in my life, and we had I think I got the days of the week right, but if I don't, they're close. It all starts in January of 2017 when I'm doing a Georgia basketball game, and I've set up the equipment, and I'm sitting there. This is way before the pregame show starts. We've already hooked in. The deal is we hook into Winston-Salem, and that's where they broadcast from. That's where they send it out. And our producer, Cabell Philpott, who is really one of the great guys in all of broadcasting.
Who could forget old Cabell Philpott?
No, I mean, Cabell he'll go down as one of the best ever. He really will, in my estimation. And Cabell and I were just bullshitting because Cabell's a wrestling fan. And he said, you ever thought about doing a podcast? And I went, no. He said, Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson have this podcast that is just, he said, you need to listen to it. And he said, you need to think about doing one. I said, okay, the pregame show is here. Let me feed it to you. Like, I was like blowing him off.
Yeah. Who gives a shit?
Or who gives a shit? So that happened on a Wednesday. And that weekend, I get the big, as well known by now, email from you. And it was like, and then my daughter was getting married, and it was like, everything was like, why did I hear from him on Wednesday and then hear from Conrad on like Sunday?
Right.
And I was telling Lois that story, and Lois says, do you think Conrad went to Cabell and said, hey, talk to Schiavone for me? I said, they don't even know each other. Stop it.
No.
Yeah. So that happened. And then Bruce contacted me that one day. And the first person I told, instead of telling my wife, was you, which happened to have Cody contact me like minutes later.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't know how that happened either.
Totally
Cody
unrelated.
must have been psychic.
Nothing to do with me.
No, nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And then I still was, and you and I talked about the pros and cons of what company to go work for. And this before I talked to Tony Khan. And all the signs pointed to me working for the WWE if they in fact wanted me, and apparently it was a work anyway. They didn't really want me. And you and I talked about probably WWE is the best because, hey, it's a company that's been around for a long time. It's not going anywhere. And a startup company, you kind of take any chance. And then I go down and talk to Tony Khan, and that changes my mind.
Of course.
And then I get jacked around by the WWE HR department. and it all worked out. Now, throw that out. Had Vince or Bruce, who was my contact, contacted me before all of this happened, I would have gone to work for them, because I kind of wanted to get back into wrestling, and I kind of wanted to get back in because of our podcast. It piqued my interest again to the sport.
We should also mention you were doing MLW stuff at the time, but you meant on a more full-time basis.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, MLW was, and I really like Court Bauer. I know a lot of people have Court, you know, there's some people out there that just don't like him. And I get that. Some of the wrestlers, I don't know. He always treated me fairly, and he was always good to me. But I viewed MLW as just extra money.
Hey, by the way, we should mention, just so you know, I know you thought, well, you and I had a situation that was, when we once did a podcast in conjunction with MLW that, we had a little hiccup, and he and I talked, me and you haven't even talked about this, but we're square and good to go. And I think a lot of Court, and, it's just one of those deals where it's sort of out of sight, out of mind. We just haven't done a lot of business together lately, but yeah, I hope that MLW crushes, man. And everybody who works there, makes $1 trillion.
Yeah. Court's a smart guy. And so he could have very easily not let me out of my contract, because I signed a contract with him thinking, fuck, it's extra money. I'm not going to get back into wrestling again. Sure. And it took basically one day a month. That's basically it. So I got involved in them, and but anyway, you and I doing the podcast got me interested. And I have to admit, going and working for Court and getting to know the young guys, and having the young guys say, "Oh gosh, having you call my matches is just one of the highlights of my career." And I'm thinking, wow, I really meant something to some of these kids.
Right.
And so I got to thinking that if I can help them in their careers move forward, because, Court likes to say we're not independent wrestling, we're MLW, but we had a lot of independent wrestlers, which we've used in AEW. If I can let these independent wrestlers, who I know are working hard, busting their butt each and every day, if I can help them with their careers, maybe a promoter turns it on and hears me do their match and thinks, man, that match is great, then why not? So that piqued my interest in wrestling. Our podcast piqued my interest in wrestling, and I was ready to get back into it thanks to all of that. And then it's a long story, I know, but had Vince or Bruce called by that time, I probably would have gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to What Happened When. It was a very special Ask Tony Anything. We got 2 questions in, and he became Eric Bischoff on the second question.
I was thinking that I was doing an Eric Bischoff right there.
Oh, you certainly did. That question lasted 83 weeks right there by itself. Talent wants to know, when you see the amount of good runs the guys that left WCW had in the WWF or TNA even later, does it not make you wish Turner would have handed out more pink slips than he did?
Wow. That's kind of a bizarre question, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys in Turner that should have never wrestled for us, that should have never been in the business. I don't know if seeing what happened in the WWE and I didn't watch TNA, so see what happened in TNA. That's a good question. I don't have a good answer for it.
Well, let's see if you have a question or an answer for this one.
Okay. Tony
stated on an early podcast that he used to be in a bowling league. What was his team name? What was his average? And did he ever hit the Gold Club after the bowling was over? The answer to the Gold Club is no. Tony doesn't go to shoe shows.
No, I don't. I'm a very boring guy.
Super.
And so
so boring.
Yeah. And you know what?
So very boring.
Here's another thing. I went to a lunch during Labor Day with the family, with the in-laws. And I got over there and I sat down, and there were a lot of kids running around, grandkids, and a lot of family members around. And I was kind of sitting over in the corner, and I was on my phone, and all of a sudden it hit me. I love my family, but I don't fucking want to be here. And then it hit me Well, here I'm talking to myself, right in my head. Well, where do you fucking want to be? Where do you like being? Because every time I go somewhere, the first thing I'm thinking about is leaving.
As soon as you get there, you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing to have. That's a terrible thing to have because you're always looking for the next moment. Why don't you live in the moment? And I don't know why I don't live in the moment. So what was the question again? What? I'm trying to be honest about my life here.
I want to know about your bowling league.
Oh, my bowling league. So I was in it was a Friday night bowling league, and it was a mixed bowling league. It was 2 guys and 2 girls, and it was pretty cool. And during Christmas time, they would all bring covered dishes and everything. And I don't know what my average was. I can't remember that. We're talking about, we're probably talking about like 1997. I was in the bowling league, and I do remember bowling like a 230 at one time.
That sounds pretty good.
But that's like one time. So, but bowling leagues are more social than, at least our bowling league was more social than it was competitive. And the kids, and then I would go on Friday night, and then I would take the kids, the 3 youngest kids, Chris, John, Michael, and Tim, I would take them to a Saturday morning bowling league. And I would go back to and hang out with them during. So I spent a lot of time in the bowling alley, our one bowling alley in 1997. The kids still got trophies. And I always thought that bowling was one of the best things a young child could do.
Why's that?
Because let's say you're on a baseball team, Little League baseball team.
Okay, I'm saying that.
All right. You don't always get to play.
Right.
But in bowling, everybody plays. Everybody gets a role. Everybody participates. Everybody's part of the team. There's no first string or second string. So I always thought that bowling was a great thing for kids. And our kids enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed it. But then I started doing high school football for a local radio station. And so that took me out on Friday nights, and I stopped bowling. So, but I never went to the Gold Club.
Never did.
I know I've been to the Gold Club, but I never did go after bowling.
A lot of torn pockets over there.
Seen one, you seen them all.
I don't know if that's true.
Oh yeah, it is.
Ken Patera's pet raccoon Josh wants to know, is the true reason you didn't call Survivor Series 89 is because you had already planned a Schiavone family vacation?
No.
So you were at the show?
Yeah.
It's not used.
It's not used. Absolutely.
John Riga wants to know, if you could have been a manager instead of a commentator, who would you like to have managed the most over the same amount of time you were in the business? So the insinuation is you can't just name one talent. If you were going to go the other way and you were going to be a manager, can you name some talents you think you would have enjoyed managing?
Yeah. Arn.
Okay.
Tully. I would have loved to have been in JJ's shoes.
Yeah.
I think that would have been great.
Anybody else? I don't think,
well, I mean, it's all like, Roddy Piper. I mean, I'm talking about guys who really didn't need a manager, but.
Well, but we didn't really need you on commentary either. I mean, you were just, really, we could have replaced you with one of those speaking spells.
Well,
probably 98.
Well, guess what? You didn't, motherfucker, and I'm still here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Talent wants to know, book your best main event in AEW. Who does it involve and why?
Book my best event in AEW?
Yeah, like if you had to book a fantasy main event, a match that hasn't already happened, or maybe it's going to happen, maybe it's a rubber match for something that already has happened. What would the ultimate AEW main event be right now to Tony Schiavone? Okay.
So this is kind of a duh moment, but it would be, the Young Bucks against FTR.
We just saw it. You want to see it again?
When do we see it?
Oh, you're right. There were multiple teams there. Okay. I'm with you. Have
Maybe
you
John Moxley against Cody.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Mm-hmm. That would be good. Maybe Rusev against Moxley. Sorry, Miro against Moxley.
We know what you mean. The Slop Drop wants to know, we're recapping September 8th, 1997 Nitro this week. Referee Mark Curtis stopped a fan that ran in during the Malenko psychosis match. Curtis would be diagnosed with cancer and die 2 years later to the exact day. What does Tony Schiavone remember about Mark?
I remember that when that happened, I named him Shooter, and that kind of stuck with him because Mark was a pretty tough kid. And I remember we all went to Knoxville to do, and it was a house show that we had in Knoxville. And we all, me, Heenan, Tenay, we all drove to Knoxville and honored his career. It was a tragic loss, and it was, and I just remember, listen, Heenan, this is how good of a person Mark was. Heenan wouldn't have gone up there for just anybody. So that's what I remember.
Wes Etheridge has an interesting question. If Chip retired tomorrow and the Braves called Tony and offered him the gig, would he leave AEW?
No.
If you had a chance to be the voice of the Braves, you wouldn't take it?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, that ship has sailed.
What if there was a way to do both?
Yeah, I'd do that.
The voice of the Braves, that'd be big time, man.
Yeah. But I would not leave AEW for that. Chris, you cannot, it's an old Schiavone thing you've heard many times on this podcast, but you cannot put a price tag on working for a good person. And that's what we're doing. And it's worth its weight in gold. You take a look at, okay, so you be the voice of the Braves or you work in AEW. Okay. On the surface, man, everybody would say, man, you want to do the Braves. But my question is, who would I work for? Who would be my boss? And would it be a good relationship, or would he fucking nag me or give me shit and drive me and make me miserable? With Tony, he's very positive. He doesn't make you miserable. He's a great person to work for, good heart, and that's worth a lot. So the answer to that is no.
Chris wants to know, when Tony chose AEW over WWE, what position did WWE have in mind for him?
They were very sketchy about it. They did not just want you to come to work here. That was it. Just want you to come to work here. We need more people here who have a wrestling background, strong wrestling backgrounds that can help out. Well, what would I do? Well, you would just work with us. Well, there was never, ever. And of course I was talking to Bruce, and I think Bruce was shooting with me. I think Bruce didn't know. And now it's pretty apparent what was going on, and I don't blame Bruce for it. But they wanted to get me so AEW wouldn't get me, and they would have run me out the door right after Eric Bischoff or before. And I'm not blaming Bruce, but I get it. I know what Vince was thinking.
Mark says, I don't have a question, but can you just ask Tony to do his goddamn Candyman impression? It makes me crease every time. And please have Tony do rap one more time.
No to rap. But I can tell you, when I went and worked for Jim Herd, Jim Herd says, couple of things that we need to have a wrestler who has a humpback, like the hunchback of Notre Dame. And the key is, you can't pin him because he's got his hump. And then I want someone to be like Long John Silver, and he's got this wooden peg leg. And every time before he's finished, when someone turns his back, he unscrews a peg leg, hits him over the head, screws it back on, Referee turns around, covers the man 1, 2, 3. More historical characters. And because we got kids, we need a couple of things. We need something in that is a fan scan. A fan scan. We'll put it, we'll just scan the fans, and we'll have like a little chyron or a little graphic below it, showing how many fans we have and how loud the fans are getting. We need to show more fans. And because we got a lot of kids and kids like candy, we need a candy man. We need someone to come out. We need someone to come out in the entranceway with a bag of candy, throwing out candy to the kids. Yeah, a candy man. We need a goddamn candy man. Would somebody get Ole? You think there's somebody could be a goddamn candy man? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jim Barnett, I would ask you to do that, but shit, you're probably a pedophile. So I'm not going to ask you to do it. And by the way, Jim Barnett, you're dead, aren't you? Good. So give me a goddamn candy man. A goddamn candy man. All right? Meeting over. So now, after a meeting like that, you probably want to go home and kill yourself. But I hung in there.
Okay. That was the whole thing. Antonio Santos wants to know, do you prefer cheese on your burger or bacon? I don't know if you've heard, but this is a bit of a carryover from the Arn show. Arn has strong feelings about cheese, and he and I have, we've nearly come to blows over it. So I need you to weigh in.
Okay. I'll weigh in. First of all, I would never come to blows about what a guy wants on his burger, but cheese does not belong on a burger.
What did you say?
Cheese does not belong on a burger.
You fucking kidding right now?
No, I'm not kidding. So when you put cheese on a burger, what do you taste? The cheese or the burger?
Oh my God. I can't
you
believe
taste the fucking cheese.
He's gotten to you.
No, you taste the cheese.
He got to
and I don't want to taste the cheese. I want to taste the burger.
Have you ever cut the cheese?
Okay. So listen. So what do you put on a hamburger?
Well, first of all, it's a cheeseburger.
What do you put on a? You're putting cheese on a hamburger, but go ahead.
Let me tell you what I don't put on there.
What?
Here's what I don't put: bacon.
Oh my God.
You know why?
Why?
Because your meat shouldn't touch.
So okay. Got it. So you don't like a double burger then, do you?
No, that's the same kind of meat. That's more of the same.
That's meat touching meat.
No, that's more of the same. I'm talking about, I don't want one of your turduckens. I think you should go fuck yourself. Why don't you stick your own head up your own ass? We'll call that a turducken. I don't want it. And also, you know what? You got a steak wrapped in bacon. Why don't you separate them? We don't have to enjoy them together. When I go to Waffle House and I get the cheesesteak sandwich, guess what I say? Bacon on the side. Don't need it to touch.
Well, that's really fucking weird. And I would go for bacon any time over cheese, but I really don't use either. What is your cheeseburger like? Your favorite, what's on your cheeseburger?
Oh, I'll drag it through the garden. I mean, I'll take the tomato. I'll take the onions. I prefer raw over grilled. I'll do the ketchup. I'll do the mustard. If you insist, I'll do the lightest little slathering of mayonnaise ever. Let's get some pickles on that joint.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know if I said lettuce, but lettuce is fine too. And then let's put the meat and the cheese and we're good to go. And by the way, when they did a little secret sauce with the Thousand Island, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
It ain't that big of a secret, but I'm down with it.
Okay. It all sounds good. You fucked it up with the cheese, but it all sounds good. When I have a hamburger, I have hamburger, raw onions, mustard, and that's it.
I'm good with that, but I would prefer the cheese.
Mustard and onions is my favorite combination.
Boy, you get weirder by the day. Primo wants to know, who is the biggest heel, Big Van Vader or Cactus Jack?
The biggest heel?
I don't think he means physically. I think he just means who was a better bad guy in WCW, Big Van Vader or Cactus Jack?
Oh, Big Van Vader was.
You thought he was a better bad guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Martin wants to know, what kind of CPAP mask do you wear? Do you cover your nose and your mouth or just your nose?
Well, thanks for the question. This has been a very difficult thing for me. This is a boring ass question, but here we go. When I first got the CPAP, they gave me the nose thing. But the nose thing rubbed raw under my nose and just like, so then I tried the mask, and the mask was kind of clunky. So then I bought another type of nose plug, and that rubbed me raw. So I'm going back to the full mask because the nose thing just is very uncomfortable.
But you're sleeping better.
Yeah.
You feel better?
And oddly enough, I didn't use it last night. You know why?
No.
Because I laid down in bed. I should have put it on before I laid down in bed. I laid down in bed, and I thought, let me check my emails on my phone before I put the mask on.
And you fell asleep.
That's exactly right. Lights on, everything.
Antonio wants to know, would you consider doing another on the road podcast with Conrad?
I'd love to.
Where are we going?
Well, let's see.
Well, let's go to Jacksonville together.
Yeah.
Be a little on the road again.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be way more X-rated than what you and JR talk about, because you get real foul with me.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think you know that I won't argue.
No, I think you bring out the worst in me.
What was
Listen, and that's what you attempt to do.
You know, me bringing out the worst of you got you some of that sweet, sweet con money.
Sure did.
So
I'm not giving an opinion. I'm throwing out fact.
Okay. Michael Eldridge wants to know, Tony, which company's business practices and eventual going out of business shocked you more? Jim Crockett Promotions or WCW?
WCW did.
That shocked you more?
What, that we went out of business?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you think about where we were in the midst of those 83 weeks, the fact that we went out of business so quickly.
Oh, I see what you mean. Because as big as you were in Jim Crockett, you were never beating Vince, but in WCW, right, you were.
Right.
So that's quite the tumble. I get it from that perspective. David Lane wants to know, will Revy Hardy be on your Christmas card list?
Oh, I think so. I've got to meet her. She's very friendly, very nice.
I think so too.
I met her for the first time and saw their youngest son. And I have a lot of respect for Matt Hardy. So sure. But I do need to say this. Who sent the question?
David Lane.
Hey, David, thanks. We don't send Christmas cards.
No, fuck. You don't even text people on their birthday. I mean, you don't do nothing.
No, I'm not a good friend.
No, not at all. One of the worst I've ever had.
Yeah. I know that I'm not a good friend. I'm sorry.
It's a one-way street. We can give and give and give to you, but we should expect absolutely nothing back, and then we'll never be disappointed.
I'm talking about staying in contact.
That's what I mean. With affection, with love, with care, with attention.
Yeah. It ain't coming from me. Sorry.
No, you're just going to keep it all to yourself. You didn't do that back in the day. I mean, goddamn.
Hey, you make it sound worse than it really is.
No, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
The only time Silva hears from you is when you're motherfucking him here on the show.
Yeah. Well, if he get to work, I wouldn't motherfuck him here on the show.
You don't know what he's doing. You don't even talk to him.
I know exactly what he's doing.
What's he doing?
Nothing. Okay. Next question.
When are you going to have Cassio back on the podcast?
That is up to you on your end. I'd love to have him back with us.
Well, let's call him right now.
Well, no, let's not.
Tony, why aren't you calling Georgia basketball this year? Have you turned your back on Georgia?
I've not turned my back on Georgia. First of all, I need to, I clarify this so many times, and I'm going to clarify it again. I do not call Georgia basketball. I'm not the voice of the dogs. I'm the producer, on-site producer engineer. That's what I do. And I'm not going to do it this year because, well,
you don't want to.
A lot of basketball games are on a Wednesday. And it's just, I just can't. I'm not turning my back on Georgia. No.
Travis,
and it's easy doing basketball.
It is.
A lot of the schools in the SEC have their play-by-play guy go by himself and set up the equipment himself and produce his own stuff. We've never had that, but it could happen. It could be our play-by-plays doesn't want to do it because I do such a good job. He doesn't want to do it, but it could very well be done. Football, you can. I mean, it's a very complicated, very big setup. It's a lot of moving parts. It's a long broadcast day. Basketball, it's in, throw down the equipment, set it up, do the broadcast. You're gone. Maybe at the most 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Football is a 12-hour broadcast day with a lot of people. So I gave up basketball because in theory, they really don't need me. And I see that coming. I see it coming down the road. But I'm not turning my back on Georgia. That question sounds like it came from you.
I just read it.
No.
Travis wants to know, I have 6 kids and I know you have 5. Did you ever feel like you didn't have enough time and energy for them and work? And is that how you wound up with a jobber kid? I just need some dad advice. I don't want my kids to be jobbers.
No, here's the dad advice. I always had time for my kids. You can ask Lois. I spent a lot of time. Ask Eric Bischoff. He threatened to fire me a couple of times because I was spending too much time being a little league baseball coach. We had 2 telephones at the house, 2 telephone numbers. One was our regular telephone number, and one was in my office in the basement that I used for Little League Baseball because I was the player agent in Little League Baseball. And people would call me on our phone and leave messages about Little League Baseball. So I put on the recorder, I said, you've reached the Schiavones. If you have a question about East Marietta Little League, please call 404-272-5555, whatever it was. This is our home number. So Eric calls one time and he hears the recording.
Uh-oh.
And he says, see, that's the problem. The problem is you're spending too much time for Little League Baseball and not enough time on wrestling. And then one time there was a mistake made by Neil Pruitt and Kemper Rogers. That it was a bad mistake on TV. And he brought me in because I was the senior producer. And he says, the problem here is that you're spending too much time on Little League Baseball. So, and then that really pissed Lois off. Lois says, you see, he's pissed off that you find time to spend time with your kids. And he's dedicating his whole life to his work. And I said, yeah, I am finding time and I'm making sure. So yeah, I found time for all of them. I did. So, as far as one of our kids going astray, that's not because I was a bad dad.
Well, shut the fuck up. We're not talking about any of that. That was a funny reference to, golly, you're trying to make things real here.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. We don't want to make things real on this podcast.
No, Lord, I wanted to get everybody fired up about your new OnlyFans. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big announcement. I guess we should make it. I wanted to do it at the end of the show, but we'll do it right here, smack dab in the middle.
What?
You've got a new OnlyFans, and I support everything that you're doing. We've plugged your other podcasts with Aubrey Edwards, and everybody knows to find you there. But now you can see a little more Tony Schiavone than you've ever seen before. It's onlyfans.com/potted meat. And I think the slogan over there is potted meat, but not a lot of meat. Isn't that right, Tony?
Well, let's spit out the old Monster Energy drink on that one.
What got you?
/potted meat.
I came up with that in the pool yesterday and Megan thought it was funny. So I thought I can dust that off tomorrow.
You dusted it off.
Ninja Rob wants to know, Tony, did you enjoy the South Padre Island spring break show? I was there, and other than the ring being above eye level in some spots, it was a great show. And it was awesome to see some wrestlers come out head and shoulders above the crowd. #Ask Tony.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. I remember, one of the things I think that was one where we had a wet t-shirt contest and a lot of guys got in trouble. And I didn't see that, but I remember, Madden and I coming out and you could smell pot everywhere. I mean, it was
like soil, like
marijuana.
Oh, illegal drugs.
Yes. People were smoking illegal drugs around the ring.
Dope, as you like to say. You even call it dope.
Dope. And first thing we came out, we took a big whiff, and Madden looked around. He says, "Who's got the pot?" And he was putting his fingers to his mouth like, "Who's got the pot? Can you share some of it?" He was going crazy because it was thick. And I remember that. I remember it just being a great time, a great atmosphere, great fans. But I also remember it was one of those times where things were not going well backstage. I believe this may have been close to the time that Russo walked away from it and left Ed in charge. And I remember we were like rudderless. So it was a very stressful time backstage, but it was a great show. And I remember Jimmy Hart and I drove, I think we ended up driving to Houston that night, which is a long, long, long way.
How long?
Pretty long. I'll look it up if you'd like.
No, I don't really care.
No, well, you ask.
Well, because
means you probably fucking do care.
No, you teased it like you were setting it up. You said long, like you wanted me to ask. How long?
Okay, got it. Okay.
That's all.
So yeah, but isn't South Padre Island where?
Not too far from Dave Silva.
Right. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah. I love South Padre. I think it's a great place, man.
Garrett wants to know, is it possible that Tony ending the greatness that is Tony Reed's rap, that may have actually led to COVID-19? Because Lord knows when he was rapping, it didn't exist. He quit and now the world is shut down. Tony, you only have one job left. Save the world. Read rap again.
First of all, I appreciate you thinking that me stopping reading rap was that important. I appreciate you saying that. But the world is fucked.
Really?
Yeah. And there's no rap that I can do to save it. It's completely fucked. And I'm just riding out the wave.
That's sort of negative.
Oh, by the way, it's 5 hours, 27 minutes between South Padre Island and Houston.
That's kind of negative what you're saying right now.
What? That is 5 hours, 27 minutes between Houston and South Padre?
Just saying, it seems a little negative what you're saying.
No, it's realistic. Okay.
Let's be realistic. Thick Bockwinkel wants to know, have you ever been in a submarine?
Nick Bockwinkel?
No,
I've not been in a submarine, but I've been in a destroyer. I've been down in the bowels of a destroyer, in Norfolk and, at the naval base there, but I've never been in a submarine. I heard you're really claustrophobic in a submarine. I think it's fucking cool, man. Battleships and I think had I been in the military, I think I would have gone probably for the Navy.
Yeah, that checks out.
It checks out?
Yeah. I feel like you would have gotten a lot of soap parties, some blanket parties.
In the Navy, you can in the Navy.
All right, that's enough. Legal wants to know, how are you dealing with the Mellow Yellow Zero shortage?
The good news is that I bought 6 cases of it. I would go into a store when I would see it, I would buy it. So I'm doing okay. But I'm really pissed off at Coca-Cola. And I'm really pissed off at Clorox.
What?
So, okay. Yeah. The disinfectant wipes that you can't find anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we can't find it because we're doing our best to keep up with the demand. Well, you know what? Don't do your best. Keep up with the demand, or go into another fucking business. Go into another fucking business, because it's apparent that you let a lot of people go. You furloughed a lot of people, and now, we've got to make all these. We don't have enough people, and we fuck people who were helping us, and we fuck them and their family. Get into another business. Clorox, get into the tire business, or get into, I don't know, get into the soda pop business. Get out of the disinfectant cleaning business if you can't keep up with it. Don't start a business unless your business model tells you that you can keep up with the demand. Don't give me that fucking bullshit. See, that's the one thing that this whole COVID has pissed me off about. And I'm really, I wear my mask and I know it's out there, but I hear all these excuses. Well, because of COVID, you won't be able to get your shit. Oh, we got a back order. Fuck you. If people out there are needing shit and you can't provide it, don't get in the fucking business. And I'm mad at Coke too. Why don't we have Mellow Yellow Zero? Because of COVID? Well, isn't that a fucking excuse? But anyway, to answer your question, I'm doing okay. I've got plenty.
When did you become Lois? Do you know the day or time?
No.
Carl Hayes says
she's not like this. She's into the political game. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm talking about
you got heat with Clorox
of the country. I'm talking about keeping up with the demand. You can't tell me. You just can't tell me you can't. No, fuck it.
They were trying to be socially distanced in the warehouses and whatnot.
Well,
production facilities.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, you can't tell me you guys couldn't go live wrestling every week. You can't tell me it had to happen in a goddamn garage in Georgia. You can't tell me y'all have your own outdoor venue ran by billionaires. You can't get together wrestling every week. You can't tell me.
I see where you're going with this, but we gave you a show, didn't we?
Well, yeah, they gave us some other fucking disinfectants. You just had to go to the right store to get it. I just love that you got heat with Clorox. It's very Lois of you.
Clorox. Fuckers.
Carl Hayes wants to know, with Netflix making a movie about Hulk Hogan, would you do play-by-play or color if asked to call a match for the movie? Thinking similar to the way JR and King did for Man on the Moon.
Oh yeah, I'd do that if Tony Khan and AEW would allow it. Of course I would.
Well, they're not gonna.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say that.
Who are they going to fucking use?
Oh, I don't know, but I mean, it'd be great if you would do
Chris
it.
Cruz. They go use him with that great voice of his, huh?
Well, what about Scott Hudson? He's nice.
Yeah, you use Scott Hudson. Why not?
I think
Scott would be great in that moment. He's a good announcer and a good guy.
Mike Tenay.
Yeah, if you can find him.
Oh, I got his number.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. When was the last time you called your friend Mike?
When we were in Salt Lake City.
You're just a shit friend.
Next question.
Space. That's a callback, Tony. That's called a callback. Spade Racing wants to know, what was it like to see Sid Vicious's leg injury up close? And how do you deal with seeing something like that a few feet away from you and not let it affect your announcing?
No, you don't I'm telling you, don't let it affect your announcing. You have to do your job. You do. And I've seen a lot of that. And that was horrible, man. That was like, oh my fuck. But you realize that you got to continue to do your job. And of course, when Buff Bagwell hurt his neck, same thing. And recently, when Matt Hardy hit the concrete and we all thought he was dead, first of all, you don't know what to say, but then you just got to do your job. So you don't let it affect you. But it was really, I mean, go back and look at it. It was one of the worst injuries ever because it was so visual and so graphic.
Fun question here from Bart. He says, did you ever spend time practicing stepping through the ropes with the microphone in order to make sure you keep your balance? Or did you ever bust your ass like the fucking goof we know you are?
I never busted my ass. I never practiced it. But the older I get, the more difficult it is for me to step through the ropes. Once I step through the ropes, now I've got a decision to make. I'm talking about going on the outside. Like for instance, Jericho says leave. Or Kip Sabian says leave.
Right.
Here's what I've got. I've got a choice. Step through the ropes and step through the ropes where the entranceway is. But then I know I'm in the shot, so I don't want to do that. I want to get out of the shot because I understand. I just know my job. So, but now I step on through the ropes and I'm on the apron. So now what do I do? Do I jump down to the floor and because I'm not an athlete, break an ankle? Or do I sit my ass down on the apron of the ring and then slide off from there And if I do that, then it'll really look like a turd. So there comes that moment when you step through as an announcer that's not an athlete. Oh, what do I do? So it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Adam the Hawk wants to know, what cartoon show would Tony want to be drawn into an episode of? Something like the old school Batman cartoon, or maybe something more modern along the lines of Family Guy.
Family Guy would be pretty cool.
Yep.
George of the Jungle would have been great. Rocky and Bullwinkle would have been tremendous. Boris, Natasha, and Schiavone. I would have liked that, but some Family Guy would have been good. I never did see King of the Hill. Did you watch King of the Hill?
Yeah, I watched the first couple seasons, and then I sort of petered out on it.
Yeah. Also, I watched a lot of The Simpsons.
Best.
Yeah. Here's another one that I fucking loved when it was out. American Dad.
Yeah,
that was pretty corny and cool. Beavis and Butthead was wonderful.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, South Park was tremendous. Seeing me drawn as a South Park character would have been pretty fucking.
South Park or Family Guy? What would you have preferred to have been drawn into?
Family Guy, probably.
Yeah. The right answer.
Oh, good. Like cheeseburger wasn't, but this is the right answer.
Yes.
Or hamburger.
You know the deal. Can I do another question, or you want to keep talking?
No, go ahead. I'm having a good time.
John wants to know, that makes one of us. If you could have convinced one member of the WCW family to work at Starbucks with you, who would you want that to be? There are right answers here, Tony.
They're all right answers.
No. There are correct answers.
Oh, okay. Medusa.
That's a good one.
Big Van Vader.
All right, we're done.
Okay. Big Van Vader at the drive-thru. Fuck. With his mask on.
I would have loved to have had Hulk Hogan just so he could have went around behind you after every time you pour a cup and he goes, it's not hot. What for apparel wants to know, if given the opportunity during the Attitude Era, would you have ever considered jumping ship back to the WWE? Why or why not?
I think so. You know, we were, things, during the Attitude Era, it wasn't always an easy place to work. Yeah, I think so. Of course, the money would have really had to been right, and I would have had to been able to stay in Atlanta.
Jeremy Priest writes, how proud are you to have so many Patreon fans? You take the time with them and make them feel great to be a part of it. I can't imagine the pride you have. Hashtag Ask Tony.
Jeremy is one of our buddies, and I appreciate it. Like Carl Hayes is one of our buddies, and a couple of it probably we've asked questions before. I haven't mentioned your name, but we and this is thanks to you because you're the one that started it. We have developed a great group of people at Patreon, and they're friends. They're not just we've made friends, and it's not just fans. And I like to think that I'm very good with fans, that I reach out to them and I make them feel, well, hey, you would agree with this, right? I make fans feel more comfortable and welcome than my own friends, don't I?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I wish I was a low-key big hog and not just your friend.
Well, you can. $69.
I love you so much for that. That's why we're friends right there. That was good timing. Either way, though, the point is we've had a lot of fun with Patreon, and the relationship is much more than content creator and patron, because we get to know these guys and have fun with them.
Yeah. And I and you do too. We identify with them because we're just like them. We were and are wrestling fans.
And don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Yep.
Let's do another one here. Late to the Nitro Party says, we've often heard of JR talking about pissing his pants during broadcasts, which is why he wears black, so he can just relieve himself.
Yeah.
How many times has Tony pissed himself during a show?
0. I don't know if I don't know.
So you're saying
If
you
they're-
think you're better than JR?
In this instance, yes.
Okay. Can't wait to tell him.
Let me tell you, I don't know if there is a record or a championship, but if there were, or there was, I would be the world record holder for being able to hold your piss.
Really?
I can go all day without pissing. All day. But when I got to go like right then.
Seems like you're kind of fired up about that. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited the fact that I can hold it.
That's cool, man. Or
And it's not that I attempt to hold it. It just happens.
we're
I
proud
don't
of your
think about it. I
prostate.
don't think about pissing until like, I don't know, a stand up show's over. Once I stand up, then yeah, but if I can sit down at the desk and drink, I don't know, 2 Monsters and 2 bottles of water and not have to piss until I get up.
I dunk biscuits, right? You have to have one match with Abdul the Butcher. You get to pick the stipulation though. Is it A, Piranha Time Bomb death match? Or is it B, no rope, electrified, barbed wire, exploding ring, time bomb death match? What would you pick?
B.
You don't like Piranha?
No.
What's wrong with, why do you got heat with piranhas? What those piranhas ever do to you?
Those little motherfuckers bite you in the ass.
Oh, you've been bit by one?
No, but they would. I've seen things.
What have you seen?
I
You've
don't
seen a
want
live
teeth of
piranha
fucking fish
attack?
on my ass.
Just lie to our listeners here and tell them that you've seen a piranha attack.
On the movies, on a James Bond movie.
My God. What other dumb shit have you seen on there? Do you think all that shit's real too?
Well, yeah. You listen, you must have in your extensive Rolex collection
Oh my.
a James Bond watch that you could turn the crown,
It turns into a saw.
turns into a saw, or turn the crown and blow up something.
Well, here's the deal. That James Bond, like saw bezel Rolex did sell at auction a few years ago.
There you go.
It was pretty big time. Let's keep it moving here. Frank wants to know, did Steve Mongo McMichael hold Pepe the entire time on Nitro or just for the on cameras? And was Pepe his legitimate emotional support?
He was his legitimate dog, and he did hold him the entire time.
Really?
Yeah. From what I remember.
Jonathan wants to know, Tony, are you still going to do Bulldog Radio on Saturdays this year? I grew up with you on WCW and JR on WWE. And, I was always glad to have you part of my Saturday with the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yes, I'll be there this year.
Okay. Ian wants to know, if Colonel Robert Parker and Too Cold Scorpio formed a tag team, would their nickname or their team name be Double Dutch?
Maybe you know something I don't know. I don't know.
Seth Hicks says, I've heard all the comparisons between Hangman Page and Barry Windham, but do you see any resemblance to Magnum TA and Hangman?
Yes, I do. I was thinking about that, man. That's a great question. I was thinking about that the other day because of the long, curly, dirty blonde hair or whatever. I sure do. Absolutely. I sure do. And the fact they're both from Virginia. Good call.
Chris wants to know, how good does it feel to be everyone's favorite, especially after all those years where you thought you weren't missed? You're the man, good sir.
Thank you for saying that. I don't believe I'm everyone's favorite, but I do think I do have a lot more fans out there than I thought, as you know, Conrad, yourself, I thought. But it feels good. It feels good to be, I read one time, I don't know what, I haven't read the newsletter in a number of weeks, from Meltzer, but I did read that something to the effect of Schiavone is there just to make people feel good about the past.
Yep.
Remembering the past.
Nostalgia.
And yeah, that to me, that's good.
There are worse things.
Exactly. If that's my niche, good.
Cool.
If I make you feel nostalgia about your past, more power to us, man. And it makes me feel good too. People say just hearing your voice, right?
Mm.
Yeah. I do.
This is a good question though. GT Creation says, have you replayed your commentary at Bash at the Beach 96, the moment when Hulk Hogan turned? What are some of the things you'd redo and some of the things that you said that you absolutely loved? Now, I think what he's talking about is your iconic Hulk Hogan, you can go straight to hell line.
Yeah.
And you've had some really great lines like that over the years, but I'm sure you've had some where you sort of groan or roll your eyes when you hear it and wish that you could do it over again. What are some of your favorite calls? Like if you had to have an elevator pitch on Tony Schiavone, you had to have a sizzle reel on Tony Schiavone. What are some of the things you would show off and showcase that you're particularly proud of? And what are some that you wish you could have a do-over on?
Well, obviously, I wish I could have a do-over on butts and seats, not necessarily that line, but even having to say something like that at that time. I wish I would have a do-over on that. I would like to go back and this is Tony Schiavone just Schiavoneing, right? I'd like to go back and cut out a lot of the greatest in the history of our sport, because it got to a point to where I was just making fun of myself, and I was making fun of wrestling, and I shouldn't have made fun of it. I mean, there's another one. Heenan and I did Uncensored. I think we've talked about this before. I was talking to our ring announcer, Justin Roberts. I said, you need to go back and watch Uncensored. I said, I can't remember what year. It may have been 96. Heenan and I did the commentary, and the term uncensored became so absurd because there was nothing uncensored about anything in that show. That should have, if you call uncensored everything. So anyway, so Heenan and I, during the entire broadcast, if you listen to it, I kept saying, and why is it like that, Brainy? He said, because it's uncensored. And we did that throughout the show because we were making fun of it. And when I go back and think about it, I should have never, and I said history of our great sport a lot of times because I was making fun of it, because they were pushing me to overhype shit. And I was saying, okay, I'll just make fun of myself and make fun of, I should have never done that. Never make fun of what's making you money. So I regret that. I'm really proud of the Hulk Hogan, You Can Go to Hell, because that was off the cuff. That was not given to me. That was spur of the moment. I remember thinking of it at that moment. And so I'm really proud of that. One of the, there's a lot of guys backstage in AEW who, when they see me, will go, it's Sting. So apparently, when I said Sting's name in the moment of the excitement, that's kind of stood the test of time. I hear that a lot. So those are the things. It's Sting and Hulk Hogan, You Can Go to Hell. And I like that.
All right. When you're a sports anchor, how did you remember to say some players' names or even remember the players' numbers? It comes from, hi, my name is Jono.
Oh.
Any tips on how you remember their names or their numbers?
Well, I did baseball, and because you did a game every day in the minor leagues, every day, it later in the 11 years that I did it with the Braves, we had some off days, like maybe one a week at times, but there were times where we would have 20 straight days of a baseball game. It wasn't hard to remember these guys' names because you had a scorecard in front of you with their names. You saw the guys every day. You knew who they were. They have scoreboards in front of you, and when the batter comes up, it shows his picture and his number and his name. You have so many things now that you didn't have way back then. Now, I can tell you this. I'm talking about in the 1980s when I was doing, this is before I was doing wrestling. In like 83 maybe, or 82, let's say. The fall of 82. I did high school football. We're stationed in South Carolina, in Lancaster, South Carolina. And I did Andrew Jackson High School out of South Carolina. And we went to a lot of places that a lot of high schools that had no rosters for us. None. So you know what I did? I made up names.
You made up names.
I sure did. Because I got to thinking, I'm on a small station in South Carolina. I know the home team. I know all those kids because I do their games every week. The kids like in Whitmire, South Carolina, went to Whitmire, South Carolina. I never will forget, played the Whitmire Wolverines, a real small stadium. Didn't even have a press box. I climbed up on top of the team bus that parked near the sideline and did the play-by-play. And I made up names for the Whitmire kids because
nobody cared. Nobody was listening.
Exactly.
But
in this era, it is very difficult because all of the things you have that you can do, all the resources you have, it's not difficult at all.
Late to the Nitro Party says better top rope leg drop, Bobby Eaton, Psychosis, Bull Nakano, or somebody else.
Bob Eaton.
I agree. Psychosis number 2 though.
Sure.
At least for me. Garrett wants to know, are you excited for the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League?
Not really.
Scott Norris wants to know, if I had $1 for every time a WCW show had a blank chyron, a wrong chyron, spelled Ric Flair's name wrong, lighting that went out during a match, or an advertised match that didn't happen, how many dollars would I have?
Oh, you'd retire by right now. You've been able to retire. Let's say you would have, did he say $1 for each?
Yep.
Okay. He would have, well, maybe couldn't retire. He would have $13,550.
Yeah, it'd be hard to retire on that.
Yeah.
She were moving.
Some people could.
Oof. Aaron Turner wants to know, how much was your last royalty check from Ready to Rumble?
About $19.
It's tremendous. Mike wants to know, 4 courses. What's on the menu for Tony's Ultimate Hobo Food Fest?
Oh God. Okay. Let's see, 4 courses. We have, the appetizers would be, cheese sticks. You know, those, string cheese sticks.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the 4-course dinner.
Okay.
Okay. Then you would have, spam. You would have deviled spam on Ritz crackers. Deviled spam, some good shit, buddy. The main course would be, a can of pork and beans, not cooked, can of pork and beans, and Vienna sausages. And the dessert would be Reese's peanut butter cups.
That's not even hobo food. What for apparel wants to know, if you were a luchador, what would your gimmick be?
I
thought we said that. Didn't we say it would be like, you'd be the potted matador or something like that?
Yeah. El Sardino.
You know that, I don't even know that. I mean, you've talked about this. Did you know that Christopher Daniels had a crazy gimmick in Japan?
No.
It was called Curry Man. He wore a mask and he wrestled with a bowl of curry on his head. It's real. Look that up.
I got to talk to him about that.
Well, I think you could do that with spam or with, Vienna sausages.
A can of Vienna sausage on my head.
That'd be huge.
Wiener man.
You said it, not me. But you know, you'd have heat with Colonel Robert Parker for, gimmick infringement then, wouldn't you?
No, because a can of Vienna sausages has 5 in it. You could take all 5 of them out and lay them end to end. You wouldn't come close to Colonel Parker.
Yeah. Bruce told me he saw that thing in action one day and said it was something to see.
I bet it was.
Said it had a knee in it. Hey, tell me about, Colonel Robert Parker shitting his pants. We just talked about it recently over on, 83 Weeks earlier this week. In fact, Fall Brawl 94.
Yeah. I have no idea. I have nothing to add to that story.
But you remember him taking a big shit in his pants.
I do not.
Well, he did it while you were on commentary with Bobby Heenan, and Bobby Heenan even called it out and said, oh, he had an accident. And Dusty Rhodes on War Games DVD confirmed that, yeah, he got diarrhea right in the middle of the match and just shit himself in a white suit.
Don't remember that.
Checks out. Jeremy Forehand wants to know,
what show was it? I'm sorry. What show was it?
Fall Brawl 1994. It's the one where Dusty and Dustin got back together, convinced the Nasty Boys to join them. They took on the Stud Stable. Ming was on the outside and Colonel Robert Parker was on the inside. And when Dusty put the figure 4 on him and the Nasty Boys started dropping elbows on him, he just got the bubble guts and filled up his pants.
Great moment in wrestling history. Maybe the greatest moment. Go ahead.
Jeremy wants to know what you think of the new Batman trailer with Robert Pattinson.
Fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it.
You can only
he's going to be a good Batman.
You can only pick one of the Batman movies. Which one would it be?
One of the Batman movies?
One stays, the rest got to go.
Okay. Dark Knight Rises.
That's a good answer. Ninja Rob wants to know, Tony, what's the hardest part of growing older?
Losing your, well, everybody's different, I guess. There's some great parts of growing older, but losing your sexual drive.
Oh,
that's difficult.
Joe Santiago wants to know, how savage is Big Josh?
Hey, Joe. Well, back in the 70s, he was on top. Now he doesn't even get booked anymore.
Cowboy wants to know, who did Tony like kissing more, Lois or Jimmy Valiant?
Jimmy Valiant.
Adam the Hawk says, Tony, bowl of spumoni, what's the least favorite job you've ever had? This one.
No, when I was in college, I had a lot of jobs during the summer to help pay for college. And I worked for the Augusta County Water Authority. And I think I've told this story before. One of my jobs was driving a shit truck. And we would go to these water plants, and the water plants recycle the water, and they take, and of course we're talking about the 70s, so I'm sure technology has changed. They take the waste and they separate it from the water, and they purify the water to where it's usable again. That waste collects, and it was up to me and this guy named Mark to go to these sewage plants and vacuum up the waste into a truck and then take it out in some land that the county owned and dump it. And there was a time where we were driving and we were told, watch how you fill up that truck. Don't fill up too full. We filled it up too full.
Uh-oh.
And we hit the brakes and the shit went right over the cab and right down over the windshield at a stoplight.
That was a shitty day.
That was a shitty day. We still went to McDonald's for lunch though, with the truck.
Miro's Thoughts wants to know, who was the biggest locker room cancer in WCW?
God. It's hard for me to say, man, because I was kind of removed from it.
Greg Gagne?
That's probably a good one.
Dees wants to know, Tony, have you ever, or do you eat ass?
No.
You don't, or you haven't, or neither?
Neither.
Joey wants to know, when NASCAR was heavily involved with WCW, did you ever attend a race?
No, fuck no.
The Fifth Horseman says, if WCW hired you instead of Bischoff in 93, what would you have liked to have done?
Taking my check and left.
I also read that you left WCW's booking committee after a dispute with Terry Taylor. If that's true, what was the dispute over? What happened?
That is not true.
Pipeliner wants to know, does the mythical 6-man belt even exist?
Yes. And we think we found it.
What? Whoa, hang on. Breaking news. What are you saying over there?
Okay. Somebody sent a text, I think, out and said that they saw the 6-man belt in the San Diego Padres trophy case.
What?
And that, I talked to Lowe's about that. That piqued my interest. I think in 1998, I may have given the belt to Brian Bowringer, who was in a big wrestling fan and in the San Diego Padres bullpen at that time. And he may have turned it over to the team, and that may be the one in their trophy case. Now, there's a couple of things we can do. We can try to find Brian Bowringer and ask him if, in fact, I did do that. And if he says yes, then I can ask him, can you get it back? Which Brian's a good guy, and he may try for us, because I think he's still in baseball. I've attempted to contact him, and I've not been able to. Or we can do a midnight break-in to Petco Field, if you'd like. I mean, look, we could probably bring in Clint from Hershey, because he's known to break shit.
Yes.
And he could break into the trophy case.
Yep.
And get the belt. And if somebody blows the whistle, we say, hey, it's ours anyway.
You know what? We could also have Efren join in on that. He could slip in the back door.
Who?
And he's won over the hearts and minds of millions. Well, dozens.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, hang on a minute ago, you said who, and now you said he has. So you don't know.
He has question mark. Who we talking about?
Efren.
I don't know anybody by that name.
Okay.
So who knows? We may be able to get it back.
Boy, there's a lot of bad stuff in here that I'm going to skip. Talent wants to know, what's your opinion of Vince McMahon killing third-party creators for wrestlers? I think he means third-party deals.
Yeah.
Do you have a take on that? Have you kept up with that at all?
I haven't kept up with it to the point to where I know the ins and outs of it, but I can tell you on the surface, it does not surprise me.
Me neither. I mean, for years and years, I thought you had to get the office's permission to do interviews. So all of a sudden, now that these guys can create their own platform and it's not through a traditional radio or TV station, I guess it was just under the radar. I don't know.
Guess so.
But I know some folks had carve outs in their contracts and those will continue and some didn't. So they won't. I don't know.
Well, I've got things in my contract that allow me to do this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just saying, I know that exists other places. Wink, wink. Chicken fight. This comes to us from Darth Vibrator. Who's your go-to tag partner? And most importantly, who's on top? Who would you do a chicken fight with? And why is it Whitney Wright?
A chicken fight.
You know the deal. You put somebody on a chick on your shoulders usually, but in your case, you might want Medusa on bottom.
Mm-hmm. I think right now my partner would be, and I would be on bottom, would be Rebel. Yeah. I knew that would get a good react from you.
You think her fiance is ever going to come to the show and kick your ass?
No, listen. Hey, so I told her about the Sad News Bears.
Oh yeah. We have our own fan club going.
She couldn't believe it. Dude, I said, it's true.
It's the fucking name of our group chat. Like if I pull up my Twitter DMs right now, number one at the top, Rebel Fan Club. It's a whole thing, man. Rebel Nation is strong.
Yeah. And one of the reasons is she's so cool.
She is cool. And yeah, we like her.
She said, I told her about the Sad News Bears. She said, Conrad is such a nice guy. They were so nice to me at a StarCast.
Yeah.
I'll say, well, he's nice to everybody except me.
I am to you in real life. It's only on the show where I give you shit.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Come on now. You just put me over a few weeks ago saying how much fun you had at my house. I know how to roll off the red carpet for my friends.
Tremendous.
On the show, yeah, I give you shit. I'm doing my job.
But you know the sad part of me being at your house?
What?
I was thinking about when I was going to leave. I need to enjoy the moment. I can't enjoy the moment. Somebody help me here. Is there a drug out there for that?
Yeah. Xanax.
Xanax?
Yeah. Ninja Rob wants to know, Tony, do you find yourself talking more shit since you've become friends with Conrad?
Oh,
He knows me well.
just let me say, I don't know everybody in the world, but I cannot imagine there'd be a person that talks more shit than Conrad Thompson. I mean, you've taken it to a whole new level.
Thank you.
I thought I was pretty good with it, but no, you've taught me a thing or two.
Man, here's the deal. If you're going to be like making sales calls one after another every day for more than 20 years, you're going to have to get quick witted and thick skinned.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin wants to know, who are some of the best non-wrestling broadcasters you've ever seen?
Larry Munson, Skip Carey, Joe Simpson, Joe Tate.
Say Joe Taint.
Nev Chandler.
Did you say Joe Taint?
Tate, T-A-I-T.
Okay.
Cleveland Cavaliers. Vin Scully, of course. Gosh, I can name a bunch of Ray Scott. JR and I were talking about Ray Scott the other day. Now that's, when I say Ray Scott, everybody listening is going to say, who? But Ray Scott was from Minneapolis. He was the voice of the Twins for quite a while, and he was also the voice of the NFL on CBS back in the 60s.
I like Al Michaels. Does that make me lame?
Nope. A lot of people like that. It depends on your era, when you grew up.
I think Al Michaels' voice and what's Flair's buddy's name? He's great. Just moved to CBS. Took Vern Lundquist's job.
Sure.
Brad Nessler.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys' voice, I think them and Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson is another one.
That's sports to me.
Yeah. If you want to hear Ray Scott's voice, go online, go to the NFL's YouTube channel, whatever, and pull up the Ice Bowl. That's his voice on the Ice Bowl.
Rusty wants to know, what are your thoughts on WWE Hall of Famers wearing their ring on AEW TV?
Doesn't bother me at all.
I don't think so either. Like, it doesn't cross my mind.
It doesn't cross my mind at all. To be honest with you, I don't notice it.
I do.
I noticed one day that JR had it on, but for other guys, I don't notice it at all.
I guess
maybe
story.
Billy Gunn's got his on. I don't know.
I got a fun story to tell you one day.
All right.
But I can't tell here yet.
Oh.
Z-Man wants to know, but remind me, it's about a Hall of Fame ring. Why did you need neck surgery? Eating too much coder.
I don't know why I needed. Well, yeah, I do know why I needed neck surgery. I was in a couple of accidents where I was rear-ended.
Oh,
see, I knew you were going to react to that.
You hate to see it. I mean, listen, there's nothing worse than getting in a car wreck, man.
Yeah. I was in two of them, one in Charlotte, one back in Virginia. And, I went to the hospital both times thinking I had whiplash.
Mm-mm.
And apparently I didn't.
That's good.
But then later in life, as we get into the late 80s, when I would reach for something, I would have an electrical shock run from the back of my neck all the way down my arms.
Holy shit.
It was weird. So I went and I had a MRI done, and it was really, really serious. And I dragged my feet on getting a surgery until I went to a surgeon, and he put a neck brace on me immediately. He said, wear this. He said, you have one more wreck and you'll be in a wheelchair the rest of your life. So, and he told me, he said, the reason it's so severe is that this is technical stuff now, you have a thinner sac of fluid around your spine than most people.
Mm.
And that makes any type of contusion or any type of problems that you have with your neck more severe. And he had studied in Japan, because the Japanese people inherently have thinner sacs of fluid around their spine. It's part of their makeup, and they have more neck injuries in Japan than anywhere else. So I had the surgery because, as he said, we're not having surgery to.
Did he call it spinal stenosis?
No, I don't know what he called it.
Okay.
But they went in and they cut open my spinal column, and they opened it up and widened it so I would have room for my spine in my spinal column. And had I had one more wreck before that, he said I would have been in a wheelchair the rest of my life. And he also said, you're going to have more back problems as we go along. And I think my back problems have kind of been, well, I've seen a doctor now that I've got scar tissue on my spine, on my spinal cord.
Mm.
And that's the reason I still have pain. And the doctor says there's nothing they can do about that. But as far as the danger of me not being able to walk again, I think that's all by me now. So it was a combination. It's a long story now. Combination of hereditary and car wrecks, 2 of them.
Let's do a few more and then we'll wrap things up. Phil Snowden wants to know, would Tony rather take 5 F5s from Brock Lesnar for 5 minutes with Sable?
Yeah, it's not worth that.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Jeffrey wants to know, what's your favorite baseball movie of all time?
League of Their Own.
Honky Z wants to know, in Tony's opinion, what's the greatest video game or video game series of all time? I say Metal Gear.
I would agree that Metal Gear is great, but my favorite video game of all time is still Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm sorry. Just amazing. It is just an amazing thing what they've done.
Jonathan wants to know, Tony has his ears pierced and you never stop with one piercing. So what's next? Dong or nips?
No, you stop with one piercing.
Sprinkle of Ginger wants to know, would you ever consider doing commentary on a Whitney Wright video? Possible intros, voiceover work, whatever he's comfortable with.
I don't know. My days in wrestling are over, maybe. Not now.
Mad Bull wants to know, when will you stop kayfabing the HJ?
Never.
Justin Guest wants to know, what is your favorite overseas destination to travel for either work or pleasure?
I guess, does it have to be somewhere that I've been? I guess maybe. I always want to go to Italy. I understand Italy is paying people to come live there.
So you haven't been to Italy yet?
No.
You want to go?
Yeah.
Let's me and you plan a trip next year.
To Italy?
Yeah.
We got to make sure the virus is done.
Well, that's why we're doing it late in the year for your birthday. Little birthday trip for your 75th next year.
Okay. So if they have good internet over there, I may just stay.
Well, how are you going to call wrestling over there? Green screen?
Mm-hmm.
Just keep phoning it in like you have been.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Johnson wants to know, what's your favorite restaurant in Charlotte?
Wow. I don't have a favorite restaurant in Charlotte.
Dylan Jacobs wants to know, favorite and least favorite of the Disney Star Wars movies.
The Disney Star Wars movies, I guess. My least favorite is number 1, which was actually the 4th one made. And my favorite is Rogue One.
I don't even know what you just said. Let's do 2 more.
Know, Rogue One. Then you are missing so much in life.
I don't have time, Tony.
You have plenty of time.
I don't.
Hop out of your goddamn pool. You soak in there for 7 hours.
Whoa. I just did a 4-hour podcast with Eric. As soon as I hang up with you, I've got to go do my real job. I don't know
what's that on a Sunday.
Mortgages. We're behind, Bubba.
Hard driving motherfucker.
Well, I'm just saying, listen, I'll have time to float around and do nothing later, but I don't right now. Late to the Nitro Party wants to know, what is your go-to Chick-fil-A order?
It's the market salad with light balsamic vinaigrette and 12 grilled nuggets.
Correct.
And a diet frozen lemonade.
Harder wants to know, what's been the most shocking thing you've seen at AEW?
Shocking thing I've seen at AEW.
Shocking thing.
How everyone is getting along. And that's based on, in years past, seeing people not really get along.
Well, that's going to do it this week for us here on What Happened When. Hope you guys had fun asking Tony anything. Of course, you can actually do this in real life on Patreon. Tony does get-togethers almost every week over at patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, you can get all these shows early and ad-free over at adfreeshows.com. And coming up next week, man, one of my favorite episodes ever. I've never watched this with one of my co-hosts, but I absolutely love the pay-per-view. The crowd is raucous. It might even be fun if you watched it with the sound on this week, Tony, just to get ready. Maybe even just the main event, but go watch the main event with the crowd. It's incredible. And then you and I will watch it together next week. Of course, we're talking about One Night Only from 1997. That's what's coming up next week. But Tony, right now, it looks like it's about that time.
Well, it looks like that Conrad Thompson is walking towards me, coming down the rampway. We all love ramp, as you know, and he's got it on a plate. It looks like it's a hamburger. Wait a second. He takes the top. It's a cheeseburger. Oh my God. Let's bring in the Young Bucks. Here come the Young Bucks. And they super kicked Conrad Thompson. They have thrown away the cheeseburger and they've put now a double burger with bacon on it. And they're bringing it to me. And that's it. And that's how you finish your show, because that's the way you love a burger. We're out of time. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. We are on Westwood 1 on Wednesdays, but on Monday we're on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday, or of course, adfreeshows.com.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.